Good morning, everyone, and good morning to the participants who have joined for today's session also. Before we get into the formal introduction and the welcome by our director, I would like to give you certain guidelines for all the participants. You have two options here. One is Q&A and a chat. When you have any questions to be put forth to the expert today, please type it in Q&A. And if you have any technical questions or technical problems you face and you want to give it to the host, please make sure you put it in the chat box. And it is also live on FB. So if any of your friends would like to see, please share the links to them. And I now request our director, Dr. Annie Jacob, to introduce the guest and also welcome Maran to this session.
Good morning to all. I deem it a pleasure and privilege to welcome our distinguished guest, Mr. Maran Nagarajan, for this expert session on From a Student to a Professional. Thank you, Mr. Maran, for accepting our request and agreeing to spend your valuable time for the benefit of our students. Let me take this opportunity to introduce our guest to our viewers. Mr. Maran is a production engineer who has worked with national and international names like Crompton Greaves Ahmedabad, Zubair Group Oman, and AkzoNobel Netherlands before deciding to start his entrepreneurial journey. From here starts the wow factor. Founded KAAR Tech with his friends in the year 2006, and the company grew under his team's leadership and is currently the market leader in GCC in SAP consulting. The revenue of the company grew to 200 crores within a decade, thanks to the passionate, relentless, and committed leadership of the founders. I need to pause here for a minute to remember our late founder, Dr. KCG College, whose journey and success vested on values and a powerful leadership we constantly admire. Mr. Maran has won several awards and recognition from various organizations, and he promotes the entrepreneurship culture in Tamil Nadu aggressively, and he works towards this cause diligently. He is a governing council member of TIE, a regional council member of NASSCOM, and serves as an angel investor in Kairutsu Angel Forum. In addition, he has founded a trust named KAAR Arakatale, which supports the education of economically challenged students. An avid reader, strong patron of Tamil language, and an intrepid connoisseur of cuisine. In simple words, a foodie. Mr. Maran, I'm sure after this gist of your accomplishments and interests, our audience are eagerly waiting to hear from you. We have been in lockdown for almost 60 days and have entered a new normal. Our entire strong and dedicated workforce at KCG College had found new ways to not only ensure education continuity, but we also wanted to make sure they stayed safe and connected. We are still looking forward for words of wisdom and experience for the benefit of our students as to how do they keep themselves upskilled and handle such uncertainties, not just as a professional front, but with also these major fluctuations to their academic schedule, being at home away from friends, which can be damaging for the social interaction, and economic instability. In fact, when everything is so volatile, what are the best practices they need to adopt in this disruptive phase when we are all in this remote setup, replacing one dogma with another? With this thought and the faith that we have overcome this pandemic with courage and resilience, I, Annie Jacob, would like to hand over the session to you, Mr. Maran, and the streaming is all yours. Thank you.
Good morning to all of you. Am I audible?
Yes, Maran, you're audible. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you very much to Devasundari for organizing, to Annie Jacob for the excellent introduction. I never felt so good. Thank you for making me feel good. That's the first good beginning. And thank you to Mr. Prabhakaran, the principal for KCG College. And it's absolutely my pleasure to be interacting with the students, hundreds and hundreds of students from KCG College. And it is my honor to be addressing the students of one of the most reputed institutions and also the third best rated college in Chennai. So it's such an honor for me to be addressing the students and interacting with the students. Before we go deep in the conversation, I would like to just set the stage that I intend to take the session until 12. That is okay, right?
Yes, Maran, it's the plan. It's after 12 we can go ahead.
Until 12 would be my monologue, and post which I'll be happy to take as many questions as possible, not exceeding 30 minutes. So that's the overall schedule that I thought, which is the plan. Is that by the plan?
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Perfect. So in case if I happen to exceed the schedule, please just give me a shout. So I would try to stay within the schedule because it's important that we don't bore the students. Their time is as precious as anybody else's. So good. I have put a little deck that I thought I should share with all of you. And respected students and the faculties who are watching this session, my very good morning to all of you. This is my 15th webinar after the lockdown. So you might be, I have been addressing multiple forums, forum after the forum, entrepreneur forum, student forum, our employees forum, companies, colleagues, professionals, multiple regional, national levels, all kinds of forums I have been addressing. There is a very strong sense of uncertainty over this current situation because it's unprecedented. None have ever been there. None of us have seen such kind of a lockdown. Everybody talks about the Spanish flu a century ago, but no one knows how the Spanish flu was. But we, all of us and the next generation to come will remember what the corona is. So this corona has left a very deep impact in all of us. This has allowed us to charter territories uncharted hitherto, which means we have discovered new friends. We have discovered the new depths of the relationship which we all hold. We have all been intensifying our relationship with our family, with the friends, with the remote people. The Zoom, which used to be only part of the camera, now is a everyday affair, and everybody is going for Zoom sessions. And even with family, old people, there are lots of Zoom sessions happening. With the friends, Zoom sessions are happening. Between cousins, Zoom sessions are happening. So it's kind of a new normal which has been set. Lots of leveling is happening. Lots of change is happening. Lots of new ideas are coming to fruition, and along with it, new uncertainties are also coming. Our government has introduced a 20 lakh crore package. All of you might be watching. So in one high, in the one the complex situation might be emerging. But please remember, after every such turmoil is an opportunity. Always after a turmoil, there is an opportunity which begins, and there is always new world order gets created. So students and faculty, be prepared for a new world order. In this new world order, India is going to play a significant role. You guys are going to play a significant role. And that would be the first topic of my PowerPoint. Let me start with a little bit of a PowerPoint that I'm very much mindful of the fact that I'm talking to Gen Z. What is Gen Z? People who are born after the millennium, or just before the millennium. You can say the internet, when the internet was born, 96, post 96 is the internet birth. So all of the students who are in the session today, I'm sure you're born after 96, which means the moment you were born with internet. Like how the whole history is being told as BC and before Christ and after Christ. There is BC and AD. Before Christ and after Christ. The internet era is such a defining moment. You have to classify that as a before internet and after internet. The world before internet is an absolutely very different world, which you can't even imagine how it used to look like. The only place where I can find a book is just, I was born, brought up in a little town called as Dindikal, and many of you might be from that place as well. So in the Dindikal, in the fringes of Dindikal, there used to be a little hamlet called as, and very small little place that I was growing up. And to get to a library, it takes 6 kilometers for me to walk to get to a library. Of course, I studied in a good school, but the only library which available in the whole town was that one library. So for us to go and understand knowledge, the only source of knowledge is what your parents said to you. The only source of the knowledge is what your teachers told you. The only source of knowledge was what your neighbors taught you. That's all the world was. It's a very little world, very, very extremely tiny little world with lots of impressions and superstitions and ideas. However, the current world is not the same. Today, you guys you were born with the internet. You were born with computers. You were born with tablets. You were born with smartphones. You guys cannot live for a minute without your gadgets. So that's the kind of intensity of interaction that you have with technology. And the closest which we had in technology was a television. The closest we had in technology was a tape recorder. With this is or the closest we had with the world news was about the All India Radio. So that's the kind of glimpses that we had into the world of knowledge. Whereas today it is not the case. Today, all the entire Gen Z can become anything they want. Anyone can become anything they want, and from anywhere they can become that. So the world has become one single simple platform for any of you to achieve anything. So what used to be the birth advantage in a previous generation is no more necessary for any of you, because all of you, the internet world has made it a flat one, like the Friedman. There is an author called as Thomas Friedman, and he has written a book called as The World is Flat. In that, he talks about how much countries like India and how much people from India can compete with anybody in the world or with anyone in the world. So there is no barriers anymore. Absolutely, your mind is the only barrier. So whatever you want to accomplish, whatever you think you want to get done, you can achieve. This is the first time in the history that such possibility do exist. So please take advantage of it. So this would be my first message. And I'm very mindful that I'm interested in that kind of a generation, which is one of the most intelligent, one of the most capable, and one of the most exposed, and one of the most potential generation that ever was on this earth. Today morning, I just released a video in my LinkedIn. If you have a chance, please visit and have a look at it. This year, we have promised, KAAR Technologies has promised 100% of the campus offers that we made, we will be honoring. There is not a single offer that we will be turning down, or there is no delay in onboarding as well. The moment everybody who has crossed the camp, finished their exams, they can join the company, and we will be very happy to embrace all of that. And especially in our company, we pamper, we take care, and we believe they have the maximum potential. We believe they are one of the best. Sorry. Can you see my screen?
We can see the screen, Maran, but your volume is a bit low, so the audience
can
have
confirm that if you can see my screen.
We can see the screen, Maran, but your volume. Participants have messaged saying volume is a bit low. Volume You're not much audible. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, much better. Yes, much better. Yeah.
Much better? Okay.
Yes.
Now let me just look at the mic and talk. So I was just telling that we in our company from KAAR Tech, we really celebrate the millennials, and we celebrate and we take care of the millennials and the Gen Z so much. With these little words about the Gen Z, let me get into what the professionals of the world are expecting out of you. As a company, it's just not KAAR Tech, but any company in the world would love to embrace professionals with the qualities which I'm going to talk about. It is just not a little piece of advice that I'm going to give all of you, but this is the culture KAAR Tech lives and breathes. As a company, this is what we believe in. This is what we encourage. This is what we look forward from anyone who joins our company. So this is no different for other companies either. So if whichever company you're joining, please be mindful of the fact that this is the kind of cultural expectation that all of them will have. So let me start with that in mind a little bit as to what the first culture of our company is. The first culture of the company is all about friendship. Friendship means kinship. The way you develop relationship between one amongst each other is the most valued character within the company. People who get their friendship strengthened, people who are able to make good friends, people who are able to make good networking, people who are able to align themselves are the ones who are most preferred within our organization. And let me tell you one more thing. College times are the best times to foster your friendship. This is the place where you have to learn and foster your relationship with all your friends and from different walks of life. Let me tell you, the friendship that I built personally when I was in college is the one which came handy to me when I became an entrepreneur. Even today, the company of KAAR Tech is founded by 4 of the old friends to whom we went college together. They were my classmates, they were my hostel mates, and they were my best buddies when I was in college. So all of us had this dream to do something together, and that dream, when we kept on cherishing within ourselves, and when we grew older, and after decades, after going and living in the rest of the world, I used to live in the Europe for 10 years, and my friend and colleague lived in US for 10 years, and another one in Singapore for a decade. And all of us came back to India together to start this company. So the friendship that you develop during the college days is very, very, very precious. Even today, top friends of mine are only from the college. Out of, if you say, if I have the top 10 of my 15 friends would be from my college. So college is a place, it's a great, wonderful atmosphere for you to build that kind of relationship and develop deeper understanding. So please go for your friendship, build your friendship, learn to make friends, and also build the habit of all for one and one for all. When I say all for one and one for all, this is nothing but keeping the collective goal always ahead of your personal goal. If you're a sports person in this, you will all understand clearly what I mean by this. If you're a football team player, you never play for yourself alone. If you play for yourself alone, in the long run, you'll be eliminated no matter what your skill will be. Similarly, whether you're a cricketer also, you have to play as a team. And those who are capable of playing as a team make a huge difference to their teams and themselves. The ones who can play along with the team, the ones who put the interest of the team ahead are the ones who travel longer in their company, or travel longer in their journey, or travel longer in the path of success. So always remember this: all for one for all. This is one of the main cultural tenet that KAAR Tech lives by. Now, there is also this we have taken, this inspiration is taken from Alexander Dumas' book. You can search for this book, Alexander Dumas. He's a French author from the 18th century and from the early 19th century. And lots of liberal thoughts you can see from there. He's the one who stood against the monarchy, and he's the one who always talked about the best of the relationships possible, and friendship he really talks in detail about. In the book called as Three Musketeers, he talks about this all for one and one for all. So if you get a chance to read this book, please, dear students, please read that. It's an amazing book that you'll enjoy what it means to be as a team. The next important feature, the next important trait that I would like to communicate to you is about humility. I hope all of you knows what humility means. But for those who do not know what humility means, it's the humble nature. It is the ability to make yourself look smaller than what you are. You may be your stature keeps growing when you're able to give it to others, when you're let go of your glory to others, Let me give you an example. So this is one of the greatest traits of a leader. All of you know Abdul Kalam, and Abdul Kalam keeps on narrating about a great incident that he went through in 1979. SLV-3 was one of the rockets that India launched, and Abdul Kalam was the one who was the project director. And at that time, the head of ISRO used to be Satish Dhawan. And in the SLV-3 project, when Abdul Kalam did all the launching, in the final stages, the computer glitch came, and all of the project directors said it's just a small glitch, and Abdul Kalam took a very daring decision, and he said, okay, let's go on. Let's go on with the launch. So he went ahead with the launch. And unfortunately, what happened, that launch failed. Instead of going to the space, the rocket went to the Bay of Bengal. So there was a huge humiliation for Abdul Kalam. He worked for it for almost 10 years. That project was worth 10 years. 10 years of effort went down the drain in Bay of Bengal. Now that kind of a failure is something everybody will feel so devastated. You know what happened? On that day, there was a press meeting happening, and obviously the press will be very eager to know what happened to the rocket. So everybody from the press were assembled, and all of them were eager to pounce on Abdul Kalam. How much money has been wasted? How much money has been down the drain? All the efforts wasted. Why should we spend on these kind of wasted efforts? You know, the press may not understand all this. But unfortunately, on that worst day, the press did not understand that so much of hard work and people's efforts are there. You know what Satish Dhawan, the chief of ISRO, did? He said, Abdul, you don't take the press meet. I will take the press meet, he said. He went to the press meet and he said, his first statement was, ladies and gentlemen, the mission failed. We are very sorry for this happening, and I take full responsibility for this. The mission failed. The leader was Abdul Kalam, but his boss, Satish Dhawan, and came and took the full blame for the failure. The most interesting piece happened 1 year later. After that, again, the SLV-3 was launched. Again, Abdul Kalam was the project director. And this time that SLV-3 was able to put the satellite on the orbit. So this time the mission was successful. You know what Satish Dhawan did, who was the head of ISRO on the 1 year later also? Satish Dhawan called Abdul Kalam and said, hey, you go and take the press meet. You understand the powerful message, what is there in this? When the failure came, Satish Dhawan took it on himself. When the success came, he gave it to Abdul Kalam. You know, this is the profound nature of leadership. And this is the profound nature which can come only by humility. If you are capable of giving your success to others, if you are capable of giving up your glory and give it to others, let me tell you guys, success is yours. It's very difficult, but learn it the faster the better. The third cultural trait that we all live by in our company is academics matter. When I say academics matter, it's just there is a legend amongst the millennials and the Gen Z that it is okay not to read, it is okay not to study. And the most often quoted examples are about Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg. When they say Steve Jobs dropped out of a college, Bill Gates dropped out of a college. So this seems to be a legend amongst the student community. Let me tell you one thing. They are 1 in a million or 1 in a billion success stories. The probability of those things happening is extremely remote. And the chances for them to happen is only possible in California. Whereas the context that we are here is very different. If you have to enhance your probability of success, I really recommend put your energy on the academics as well. I will never tell you that academics is the only thing you should focus on. but academics is also one of the things that you have to focus on. Because we as a company respect academics. For me, academics tells many things. It talks about the work ethic. Work ethic is nothing but discipline. Discipline of repeatedly going and learning something new. In today's world, learning is everything. Within the college, when you think the subjects are not great, the subjects are useless, the subjects are boring, the subjects are not going to help you, please don't get me wrong, you are wrong. The college life gives you the possibility of exposing yourself to different academic streams, different subjects, different topics, and it doesn't matter what you learn. What you learn is not going to be directly applied in the direct life. But the way of learning, the speed of learning, the complexity of learning, the way of absorption, the way of building a muscle memory of learning, that is more important. Because in the future, the economy is not going to be about who's going to work hard or physical work. The future is going to be about knowledge economy. It is all about how hard can you think, how fast can you absorb things, how much more can you learn. That's what life is all about. So in the future, the demands on you for learning will keep increasing every day. Every single day you have to learn, whether you are a 10-year experienced or 20-year experienced, or even if you're going to retire tomorrow. That is, even if you're 50 years old, you are expected to learn a new skill every day. If you do not learn a new skill every day, you will be left behind in this world. So learning is the most important trait that you need to carry, and the college gives you the platform for you to learn. The college gives you the platform and the methodology, the mechanism, the intensity of learning is maximum when you're in the college. So please keep training your brain in terms of how much volume that you can learn and remember and reproduce. So this ability to learn is very important. So never miss on this learning. The fourth culture that we all aspire for within the company is aspiration itself. Keep a goal. Aspire to be the best. If you have no desires, if you have no aspirations, it is as good as not human. Because every human, the fundamental differentiation between the humans and the other species with 5 brains is the aspiration. Because humans have the ability to imagine, they have the ability to aspire for, they have the ability to motivate themselves, they have the ability to get inspired and work towards the goal and make the world different. So it is just not a goal that you have to pursue, but the very fact that you yourself have to be the best version of yourself every single day. All of you are might like Virat Kohli, right? So all of you might be following cricket. And Virat Kohli, you watch any of his videos, the one thing he tells is, I always try to be the better version of myself. No, no one is a competition to me except me. I am my own competition, which means, am I becoming better than yesterday? Am I going to become better than today? That should be a lifelong aspiration. So always try to be the best in what you do. I would like to give you a simple story of Robin Sharma. If any of you happen to read the book Robin Sharma, it's called as a Leadership Without Title. So aspiration is a way of life. In that book, he talks about a very old lady who used to sweep the streets it's a story-based out of America, and she used to be a sweeper. She's the health worker, and she continuously cleans the streets, and she's so diligent about doing that particular job, and she has never taken a leave, and every day in the morning at 7:30 she's on the roads and cleaning up the streets, and she's loved so much by the people within that street because she keeps the street so spick and span and clean. And one day, Robin Sharma happened to meet that lady and he asks a question. Why are you doing this? The kind of work that you do seems to be one of the, the least recognized work, the least recognized job in the world. What makes you do such a great job in what you're doing? And for which she said, I don't care what job I do, but I want to be the best in the world, she said. She says, I want to be the best sweeper in the world. If an old lady who's doing the job of a sweeping can aspire to be the best sweeper in the world, what about all of us? We have so much of opportunities. We have so much of aspiration, so much of abundance of resources, abundance of time, abundance of money, abundance of everything, abundance of knowledge. Shouldn't we be aspiring to do something great? So the students really aspire, build a lot of aspirations, and be the best in what you do. And I'm sure that's one of the important traits for your growth. I would like to share the next fifth culture within KAAR that we really celebrate. We encourage and pamper people who are capable of deciding courageously. We always say, decide courageously and stay accountable. What does this mean? First of all, learn to take decisions. In every time in your life, in every moment in life, there is a decision that you're constantly taking. And when you keep taking those decisions, make sure that you think and decide. Learn to make decisions. Learn to make detailed analytical decisions. Learn to make fast decisions. Learn to make decisions with all after considering all the plus and minuses, because decision making is one of the most important characteristics in your life. And you also should be making them with courage, because many a time there is no 100% available data for you to take a decision. Many a times, all the information that you need to make decision is not available with you. You have to make decisions in spite and despite the limited information that is available to you. And the decisions that you take may go right or may go wrong. But you should be prepared to face the consequences and own the outcome of whatever decisions that you take. I'll give you an example. All of you know Dhoni, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, one of the greatest captains ever India had. And he's literally a legend. And even before he became legend, there are a few decisions that he took which made him the legend. This is 2007. All of you might be kids then. And in 2007, in a World Cup T20, we were fighting against Pakistan. That was the finals match. And Pakistan had to just win 13 runs in the last over to take the T20 World Cup. But at that time, instead of putting in the last over, everybody was expecting Dhoni to call a spin bowler so that he can take a wicket. But Dhoni did something very different. He called a medium pacer, and fairly a rookie at the time. He called a rookie and he made him bowl. And in the first two balls, he gave 6 runs or 7 runs he gave. But in the third ball, he took the wicket. And after taking the wicket, that paved the way for India to win the World Cup. Now, that decision of Dhoni by choosing one over the other is such a crucial decision. That's about winning the World Cup or losing the World Cup. That's the kind of decision that Dhoni took that day. And he took a very controversial, non-standard, very daring decision that he took. He did not go by the predicted model. He just took a different decision. But he was such a courageous person to make that kind of a decision. And remember, in his life, he has made such decisions and it has gone wrong as well. And every time when a decision has gone wrong, Dhoni was very humble enough and very daring enough to come and say, sorry, I made a mistake. and I think I'll be learning a lesson. That's what he says. That is called as staying accountable. The ability to confess your mistake when you make a mistake, the ability to make a decision daringly. This is the most important trait we look forward in our colleagues in the company. So remember, students, you have to learn to decide courageously, and you have to stay accountable for all the outcomes that will come out of that. Good. The sixth cultural tenet that KAAR loves promoting is exhibiting of your thought leadership. What is thought leadership? The ability to have an opinion on multivarious things. Today, whether it can be a current affairs, it can be technology, it can be law, it can be society, it can be anything. It can be religion, it can be social, it can be any topic. But do you have the ability to have an opinion? Do you have the ability to convincingly communicate and make an impact of that opinion? Are you capable of communicating that strong convictions that you carry? That is called as exhibiting thought leadership. In our company, we strongly respect people who have the ability to have an opinion. Please remember, there is nothing right and there is nothing wrong. There is no absolute right and no absolute wrong. It can be always, it's all, the fact is, there is nothing called as an objective truth. The truth is always relative. So every opinion that you hold needs to have a solid foundation and have a grounding. So you should have the ability to build a reasoning for your thought process. That is called as thought leadership exhibition. And for you to build this thought leadership, the only way that you can build thought leadership is by reading and reading and reading. No one on the earth has become an intelligent. There is no born intelligent in this world. There is no born omniscient. Omniscient means persons who know everything. So there is no omniscient in this world. Everybody grows their knowledge bit by bit, step by step, by reading one thing at a time. And many of you love to take the examples of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. Trust me, guys, these are one of the most voraciously reading people on this earth. The great leaders ever you can find are the best readers, because people learn from others' wisdom. Whether you go and meet people like, whether you hear about people like Annadurai, who was the late Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, or Kalaignar Karunanidhi, who was again the late Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, or Jayalalitha, who was the recent Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. All of them were extraordinary readers. They love reading books. So make it a habit to read books. When I say read books, this is not only the academic books. Academics is important, that you have to read, no choice about it, but also make sure that you read other books. Build interest on topics other than academics. It can be it could be technology, it could be engineering, it could be genetics, it could be anthropology, history, geography, economics, business world, leadership. It just doesn't matter. Please read. No matter what, resolve yourself to read a book a month. If you cannot read a book a month, it's okay. Read a book once in a quarter. If you're not able to finish one book in a quarter, it doesn't matter. Read one in a 6 months. Even if that is not possible, read at least one book in a year. Even if you read one book in a year, it'll make a big difference to you. But the one thing please don't do is, don't go without reading. It's very important that you read. Today, make a resolve to all of you, go buy a book, read it. Today, within your mobile phones, you can have Kindle. Kindle is available to all of you, and that's everybody gets a pocket money from their parents. Go install Kindle. If you don't have, go buy a book from Kindle and read. So there is no time space record. If the Kindle is available in your mobile, you can read it in any time, whether in a railway station, whether in a park, when you're walking. Today there are audible books available, which means even if you're walking, you can hear in your headphones. So Reading is possible in any form and shape. All you need is a mental resolve to read. So please read. That's the only way you build your leadership and thought leadership. And companies respect your thought leadership. I would like to talk about the next cultural trait that we respect. This is the frugality. When I say frugal, many may not know the meaning of frugal. Frugal means doing less. I mean, spending less is called frugality. As much as possible, spending less is termed as frugality. But the frugality doesn't need to be only about money. The money, spending money is not the only thing that you have to be conservative about. Yes, you have to get things done with as little money as possible, whatever you want to get done. But the most important resource with all of you is not money. But the most important resource with all of you is time. Because money can be different between one and the other. But the time as a resource is exactly the same for everybody on the earth, whether it is the President of the United States of America or the Prime Minister of India, Chief Minister of India, or your principal, your head of the department, or you, or a sportsman, or me, or one of our colleagues. Everybody has the same time. But trust me, the people who make the most efficient use of time, the most frugal usage of time, because people who treat time as money, people who treat time as a resource, spend it the most efficient way, and that gets done the maximum. At this point, I have to give you one little story. This is you must have heard about this. If you're a YouTuber, you must have seen this also. But nevertheless, every time I tell, it excites me, and I'm sure every time you hear, it will excite you also. This is a very simple jar that you see here. Let me take a laser pointer. So this is a very simple jar that you see here. This is an empty jar. When you fill this empty jar with such a lot of stones, what do you think in the beginning? You think that your jar is full, but it's not true. Even after filling this with big stones, you can fill this entire small stones within this jar. You know how this goes? Even after filling the small stones, you can fill it with the sand. Even after filling it with the sand, you can fill it with water. Now the thing is, once you fill the whole jar with sand, you will not be able to put anything else within that jar. However, when you put the big stones, slowly then the small stones, then the sand, then the water, that you can accommodate everything in your jar. Now, this jar and the stone is an analogy, is an example for time and priorities. Imagine this jar is the time and the capacity that you have. Sorry. Imagine that this jar is the time that you have. First, fill your jar with the big stones, which is the big priorities of your life. What are the big priorities of your life? Excellent, taking care of your family, taking care of your career, taking care of your health, taking care of your academics, taking care of the profession, learning. These are all life priorities, life goals. You want to become whatever you want to become. That has to come as a priority within your time. In a day, this should find a place for a larger part. Then comes your small stones, which could be getting your assignment done, getting your going for shopping, going for little things, those kind of activities. These are the smaller priorities. Spend sufficient time for life goals and then put your smaller priorities. And then little sand is like your entertainment, watching YouTube, going for a movie, listening to songs. All these are like your small stone. And after all this, your water is the ones which your relaxing time. You do nothing time. Still, after taking care of priorities, taking care of your daily chores, taking care of your entertainment, you can still take care of your relaxing moments. So the life can be highly nicely packed if you only find way to do more with less time. So for which, if you have to do more with less time in your life, priority becomes the most important thing. Learn to prioritize. Learn to prioritize important things. If anyone tells you they have no time, please laugh at them within your mind. Anybody next time they tell they are busy, that they have no time, the meaning is very simple. They accord less priority to it. They give lesser priority to it. If you have to do something for the fitness, as a college student, you all have to be really, really fit. If anybody of you is unfit and if you claim you don't have time, it is your mistake and not the time's mistake. Everybody in this world has the same amount of time, and how you make use of it matters. So please go there and put your life priorities and make sure you work hard about them. Never ever say that you don't have time. It's okay to say you don't have the priority, but don't say you don't have time. And there is the next important trait that we respect within our company is profitability, growing profitably. At the point of students, when you are the students, you might have difficulty understanding this, what is growing profitably. Now, every organization works for a profit. Now, profit is not a bad word. Please remember, profit is not a bad word. Profit is the purpose of a corporate organization. The moment we talk about profit, there is a bad connotation attached to this. We all think it's a bad word. We all think profit is connected to luxury. Profit is connected to private jets and lavish spending and a reckless behavior. No, that's not the point. Profit is the extra bit. The profit is the extra delta your customer is willing to pay you for taking your service. Even you're going and buying to a grocer. Why does a grocer do this? A grocer buys things and gives it to you, and that's a convenience for you. But along the process, he makes a profit. And what does this profit help him? The profit is the only thing which helps him to invest on getting more goods so that he can grow. That is the one which helps him invest on the shop so that he can make it better and he can make it convenient for the customer. That is the only thing which can help him hire new employees so that he can expand, so that he can offer more goods and services to the community. So profit is something, learn as soon as possible to understand how to grow the profit. If you're a professional, earning profit is the most important thing. So it is important that you build your financial acumen. Very soon in your times, there is a myth which says engineers don't understand finance. Engineers don't understand commerce. Engineers and finance are oxymorons. No, it's a myth. The engineers are the ones who have to understand finance the most. If you don't understand finance, then forever you will be at the beck and call of somebody who understands finance. So it is important to learn finance, learn profitability, and to create profitability. So how do you go about doing this? When you're so young, I'm sure all of you are getting your pocket monies from the college, from your homes, from your parents. Make sure at least a portion of your pocket money you do a saving. If you're getting 1,000 rupees as a pocket money, make sure you save 100 rupees. If you get 5,000 rupees as a pocket money, make sure you save 500 rupees every month onward. That 10% of minimum of, I'm saying minimum. If you can save more, good for you. Make sure that you save this money and make some good investments. At least make a fixed deposit in a bank. If not, go make an investment in a mutual fund. If not in a mutual fund, go invest in a share. But learn to make investments, learn to take bets, learn to see the profits coming out of these investments. The faster you learn, the better you're recognized in the organization. The individuals, even though you may ask, why are you talking about profits to the people who are going to join the companies just 1 year or 2 years from now? We are going to be in a starting point. We will take another 10 years or 20 years to reach the point of profitability and creating profitability, all that. No. Every professional, the moment they step inside the company, has to have the acumen to talk about profits. What am I adding to the company? I'm earning a living. I'm getting a salary paid from the company. So what am I making in return for the company? What am I adding back to the organization? That should be the fundamental thought process that you should always have. So keep this profitability thinking always in your minds. So be very mindful of how to create profit, whether in your own capacity or within the organization's capacity. Always focus on creating profitability. The ninth point I would like to communicate within the cultural tenet is change. When you're becoming a professional from a student, when you join a company, when you join an organization, be prepared for change, which means you might have a fixed mindset of this is the kind of job I would like to have. This is the kind of role I'm going to do. This is the kind of technology I will work on. This is the kind of domain I will choose. You might have all these thought processes, which is absolutely good. I already told you that be opinionated, have a strong ideas, but it's also important to embrace change, because every change is a chance and change is growth. Individuals who embrace the change are extremely appreciated by the companies, because people who are resistant to change are problems for the company. People who refuse to change, people who stick on to their own technology, own domain, and own profession and own role are the ones who perish fast, who slow down in their growth. Whereas the people who are willing to take, the people who are willing to take new roles, people who are willing to take new changes are the ones who grow faster in an organization. Remember this. Don't have strong dogmas. Be open for change. Have a thought process, because every change is a chance to learn. The more you learn early on in your life, the better your growth and the better your success is going to be. So be very open for change. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to accept change. The next cultural tenet that we really encourage is outcome-driven execution. What is execution? Execution is nothing but getting anything done. Whatever little thing, getting it done is called as execution. It's very simple. There are two kinds of people in this world, students. One kind of person, one kind of people are the ones who keep complaining that there are hurdles. There are people, these are the kind of people who will complain and complain and complain and give reasons for not getting things done. They will have a million reasons. It could be rain, it could be sunshine, it could be college, it could be a professor, it could be a friend, it could be a lack of a car, lack of a two-wheeler, lack of a cycle, whatever. They will have 100 reasons for not getting things done. Water was not coming in my tap, I could not take bath, the notebook was not available, internet was down, power was down. People always give excuses and reasons. They can tire you with excuses and reasons. Remember, even in execution, even in life, even in work also, there will be hundreds and hundreds of hurdles. The other type of the people, the second type of the people are the ones who will never give an excuse. For them, outcome alone matters. No matter what the context is, no matter what the hurdles are, outcome alone matters. They know to overcome the hurdles. They know to figure out solutions. They know to figure out ways and means to achieve their outcome. What kind of a person you want to be? You want to be the first person like a complaining Bob, or you want to be a person who wants to create outcomes? It's up to you. Companies celebrate and encourage people who overcome hurdles and create execution, and by those who do the execution and create outcomes. Whether you want to be in those or whether you want to be the complaining ones is your choice. How can you enhance this skill? How can you enhance this capability? Please make sure when you're in the college that you are part of some activity. Be part of a cricket team, be part of an NCC, be part of NSS, be part of a football team, or be part of the cultural events, be part of some clubs, executive clubs, photographic club, dramatic club, debate club, English club, language club, IEEE club, doesn't matter. Just be part of any of these activities and learn to execute events. Event management is one of the best way of learning to understand execution. So go learn these opportunities and participate in all of this, overcome the hurdles which comes along the way, build a muscle memory for execution. The moment a task comes at your hand, you know exactly how to go about executing it. That should be the spirit with which you embrace. Just don't go sit in your hostel and do WhatsApp the entire day, or the Facebook or the Insta. It's okay to be in Insta. It's okay to be in all those Snapchats and everything which is around the world. But it's like a pickle. The main dish is not that. So make sure you go ahead and participate in all of these and and try to create outcomes. So that's the only way you learn execution. And the 11th cultural tenet we enjoy and we celebrate and we appreciate in people is about walking the last mile. We always, the last mile really counts. So it's important that you travel till the last mile and make a finish. Whatever task that you take, traveling until the nth mile and giving a completion, giving a closure is more important. You will see in your life, many people start many things. They keep on starting things without finishing. They join a course, they join a computer course, they never finish it. They join a karate club, they never finish it. They join another class, another training class, but don't finish it. They start a summer course, but they don't finish it. Finishing is more important than beginning. You can't be proud of 100 things that you started, but you should be proud of one thing that you finished. So, students, learn to walk the last mile and be a finisher. Don't open 100 threads. Even while browsing, you will see that you keep on clicking 100 windows and not reading any other window. Make sure you open one window, but you finish reading that window. So multitasking is sometimes good, but many times it's not good. Taking one, finishing it, going to the next produces better outcomes than juggling between 100 things at the same time. What I say might go against your ethos, against your habits, but again, give me the benefit of doubt, take a leap of faith, trust what I'm saying, it'll prove to you good. The last cultural tenet that we really love, enjoy, and propagating to all of them is make your journey count. What does make your journey count? Make your journey count means living to the fullest. Every minute of your life, you have to live to the fullest. Don't fill your mind with worries of the past and anxieties of the future. Always learn to live at the present. Radiate positivity. Give inspiration to the friends around you, people around you, colleagues around you. Radiate so much of positivity that people remember you always. People look forward to hanging around with you. Think about a minute. Who are the people that you really want to hang around with? Those are the people who radiate always positive energy, who always elevate your spirits, always spread laughter, and always spread energy. So be that person where you give energy, where you spread energy, and you radiate inspiration to the rest of the people. And that is what people call us the legend. So, students, now these are the 12 cultural tenets, at least in our company, we celebrate and we really encourage people to embrace. It doesn't matter whether it's a fresher who joins a company or a 20-year experienced company or myself or a student. These principles are life principles. These will always come in handy to you. These will always prove to be extremely good for you. So go ahead, embrace them, take full take full energy into the life, and keep these in mind and prepare yourself. And I'm sure each one of you are destined to make a great impact in life for yourself and be a great professional in the future. Whether you are working for a company or you become an entrepreneur for yourself, it doesn't matter. All of these principles will absolutely hold you good for all the time to come. And with this, I wish to close my monologue and lecture. Thank you very much. And I would love to be taking some questions now. And this is my ID, my LinkedIn ID. My name is Maran Nagarajan, and I'm the CEO of KAAR Tech. You're welcome to connect me in LinkedIn, and I'll be very happy to connect with you and chat with you and talk with you in the LinkedIn. And if any questions that you have, you're free to ask now.
Thank you, Maran. It was a good compilation, and I think the chat window is floating with messages that they all are really, it is informative, and so many messages in chat windows also from many professors and also as students. We have a few questions here, Maran. Can I post it to you?
Absolutely, sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So first question is from Meghna.
Go ahead.
Whom will you choose between a student with discipline or a student with tech skills?
The simple answer for me would be the discipline. Because tech skills can be easily acquired by discipline. But extraordinary tech skills minus the discipline, it doesn't go far.
Okay, thank you. I think
this might sound like a professor statement to the students, but unfortunately, these are the life realities, right? So I cannot tell anything different. So,
at this point, we would also, most of the placement officers of colleges, we always used to have a question when it comes to KAAR, why 80% and no history of arrears? And we know that KAAR is very specific with that. We have tried for no standing arrears and so many things. So I think today's session would have given an input for all the placement officers also who are live on FB.
See, I think I gave the answer myself. We respect discipline more than anything. See, it's about the work ethic. Nobody can underestimate work ethic. Work ethic is nothing but discipline and consistency. If the primary objective of a student in a college is to learn, is to read, and the very purpose of the student being there is to study. If you cannot show discipline and allegiance and respect towards the very purpose of why you are there in an academic institution, then that talks about your overall character. So we definitely insist that you make the academics the number one priority. After you taking care of the academics, everything else can also fall in place. That's what I mentioned about that rocks as a jar priority. If you make your academics a priority, still you can make health your priority, still you can have space for entertainment, still you can have space for reading, leisure, relaxation. Everything is possible. Because there are people who get that done. So anything else is an excuse, in my opinion.
Thank you. A question from one of our professors, Senior Professor Mehta. Do you foresee any drastic changes in students' attitude, commitment, and the way of thinking post-COVID scenario?
No, COVID is just a blip. COVID is a big leveler. Of course, it'll bring new changes, but this will bring new changes in terms of the ability to learn, the ability to appreciate the smaller things in life. But that's about it. It's not going to be. It'll be a great memory for all the students in the future. That I had once upon a time when I was a student. We used to have something called as Corona, and that was lockdown. All of us were shut down in home. This will be a good legend story to remember. But that's about it. I don't think this is going to dramatically change anything. Creates more opportunities. This creates more opportunities for business, for startups, for the country of India, etc., etc. But from a student perspective, this is nothing dramatic about it. And the job opportunities may shrink. So kindly be prepared for tougher times. I am not sure how many of the colleges, how many of the companies may honor their placements. If they honor, well and good. I'm not sure how much of the hiring spree will be there in the job market, but the one who is tough, the one who is prepared, the one who is good will always find an opportunity. The unprepared will be left behind.
Thank you. And one more question from one of our student, Aparna. What do you advise? Is it good to join a startup in the beginning of a career or a top end or a bigger concern?
Both have plus and the minus. When you join a startup, you'll see lots of recklessness, fast decision making, multi-dimensional activity, lots of work happening, etc., etc. All of these you'll get an opportunity to work with the founders. You'll have work. There'll be flat culture. You can work with all people. There will be a lot of spirit. There'll be a lot of team spirit. There'll be a lot of energy, positivity, mission. There is a mission that you'll feel. All that will be there. The flip side is there won't be any order. There won't be any structure. There won't be any hierarchy. There won't be any methodology. There won't be any set process. Whereas in a bigger companies, you'll see everything opposite of a smaller company, which means you'll have less energy, you'll have less dynamism, you'll have less vibrancy, you'll have more hierarchy, you'll have more bureaucracy, you'll have more process, you'll have more frustrations, you'll have, all these tend to be in the bigger companies. But bigger companies offer you much more stability, much more visibility, much more opportunities. So both have their pluses and the minuses. It depends on your career at this moment in time, what is important for you. If you're somebody who feels very confident about yourself and you're very, very positive that you can always get a job, go prefer a startup or a smaller company, because you can learn the maximum in a smaller company. However, for you, job is very important. Job is extremely important, and job security is important, and earning is important. That you're less confident of yourself, of finding a job. Go choose a bigger company and join there, so that you can build security around your life. If job security is more important, go for bigger companies. If learning is more important for you, go for smaller companies. Neither of them are right, neither of them are wrong. It is about your individual vantage point. What do you want to get accomplished? And I think I gave you a very clear answer in terms of what you are looking for as an individual.
Thank you, Maran. I'm just clubbing two questions here. What does it take to develop an IT company? And also one more student, he has asked, is MBA necessary to start?
I will answer the first question. I'll answer the second question first. I am not an MBA, so I'm just an engineer. So my opinion might be biased. It might be prejudiced. It might be, it would be from my point of view. In my opinion, MBA is not greatly effective in India. It might give you a stamping of a good institution. It might give you a good beginning point in your life. For example, if you want to pursue a career as a management trainee and with a bigger package after 2 years of experience learning an MBA and then joining a company, that might give you a good starting point. But that's about it. After 5 years, whether you're an engineering grad or whether you're an engineering plus an MBA grad, you're the same. After 5 years, the difference has been bridged. It doesn't carry beyond that. After that, it's purely your merits, your ability, your perseverance, your talent, your hard work, your ethics that count. MBA doesn't help anymore. It might give you a difference on the first 5 years. That's about it.
Thank you, Maran.
The
And to
second
the
question is about, I'm sorry, I did not answer the second question. It's about what does it take to start an IT company? See, IT is a huge spectrum. I would really recommend you to first work for a company, whether it is a startup or a large company, doesn't matter. Work for 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. An IT company is not about an idea alone. It's about idea, it's about execution, it's about scaling, it's about managing finance, it's about managing the growth, it's about human relations, it's about everything. So for you to have a long run in the entrepreneurial journey, I would strongly recommend you to build your foundation by working for a company for at least 5 to 6 years. So until you're 30, I would really recommend you to work for somebody, some other company, and build and accumulate as much experience as possible. Get married, get settled, have a child, and then go for the entrepreneurial journey. So the faster you start, the chances that you may fail are higher. So learn, prepare, and then start when you're around 30, and then you have a much longer runway that you can do successfully. That's my recommendation.
Thank you, Maran. I think few other questions related to the same were answered in this question itself. So I'm just dismissing those questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, Mr. Maran, I wanted to know how effective would virtual leadership be? I'm sure you would be experiencing that in the past couple of months. So since there are a lot of human factors missing and we are also not too sure what is effective and for transformation or what is effective for transactional developments, what are those key things that you should look at if you need to manage your organization virtually for the next few months?
Everybody's learning the traits, learning the ropes in terms of virtual leadership. Because I'm stopping the share. Hope it's okay.
Yes, Maran. I think then our screens also will be much better.
Yeah. Let me also have the gallery. I can see your videos.
Once you stop the screen share, might be the videos will be
yes,
appearing in the full screen.
I stopped the screen share. Good. See, the virtual leadership is an art which everybody's learning, including me. So this is new for everyone. Initially, we thought this is an impossibility. But as the time progresses, I realized that we are okay to embrace virtual leadership as well. There are initially what I thought was impossible is becoming very much a possibility now. I'm personally having more time and space to connect with individuals globally than ever before. Because in the hustle and the bustle, when you're in a rush, you don't take the time to connect with people. But when you're alone at home and sitting in the table, when you're nervous that you're being left behind, so you take the time to connect with all the people. So I've been connecting much better with all my management team or employees or colleagues during this lockdown than ever before. So in my opinion, virtual leadership is not difficult, and virtual leadership is no different from being present. In today's technology world, yeah, look, I'm presenting here, and then I've been taking webinars all over the place from Tamil Nadu, India, abroad, US. In fact, 1 month ago, I hosted a webinar where people from US and Europe and Australia joined at the same time. So it doesn't matter. If virtual presence doesn't matter, virtual leadership also doesn't matter.
You can keep your team constantly motivated with that, right?
Definitely possible. And I see the productivity increasing in our company after the lockdown. Work from home is a absolute bane. It's not a bane, it's a boon for us. The productivity of people, because there is a good time and space that people are enjoying. People are all our colleagues do not have to travel for 2 hours in a day, and then 1 hour for preparing and 1 hour for wind down. 4 hours is gone. 1 hour for preparing to travel, 1 hour for traveling, and 1 hour for returning back, and 1 hour for winding down. This 4 hours is available to them, so they can use it in as much productive way they want. And I see most of our colleagues are working harder during this lockdown than ever before.
So the only reason I asked was because in a working environment, you know, any leader, be it a faculty or a management leader, is aware of all those factors which can distract them. But in a virtual environment, we are totally taken by surprise, or, you know, most of them are ambiguous. We're uncertain of the factors that can hinder or motivate. So that was why I put forth that question.
You may be right. You may be right in presuming that there could be more disruption. But in reality, I think there is somebody have to go mute. It's still on. Anyway, so in reality, what happens is people are more responsible than you think. Innately, people are, whether it is a student or whether it is an individual or it's a professional or whoever it is, they are innately more responsible than we think. So their sense of responsibility manifests much better during such places when there is no direct supervision than when they're being directly supervised. People tend to be more responsible in an autonomous environment than when they tend to be more supervisory controls are there. So I have a strong reason to believe this is only going to increase the productivity.
Thank you,
Of course, this is my take. So there could be different views.
I think, ma'am,
you're on mute.
You're mute, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that could be, you know, it's going to be a different experience for everyone. So we could actually figure out what works best in physical and what works best in a virtual leadership scenario after this pandemic is crossed over. Thank you.
Maran, there are questions floating. So many questions are there. I'll just ask few questions which you have not touched at during the presentation.
Sure.
One student has asked about industries asking for bond when they join. What is your suggestion? Is it okay to join that?
It's a very personal question. As a company, as a philosophy, we are against bond. We have never insisted on a bond. We never want people to be kept on a clutches. There have been people recommending me for the past 15 years to go for a bond. Please put a bond, put 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, whatever number, and then, force people to put on bonds. I'm somebody who strongly believes you have to work for a company as long as you feel you have to work for a company. If you're forced to work in a company, the productivity is useless. There is no outcome which is going to come, and the outcome you create is worth nothing. So I don't believe in the culture of bond. And if you have a choice, for the student who asked me this question, if you have a choice, don't join the company with a bond. If you have a choice, if you don't have a choice, you have no choice. So get a job. But if you have a choice, pick a company without bond.
Thank you. And one more question. How to identify a domain? That student's problem is he is active and interested in almost everything, but he is not able to figure out which is his right domain. So any suggestion on how to identify that?
Very nice question, actually. You know what? Steve Jobs, he's the greatest inspiration. I took his name so many times. I'm sorry. But Steve Jobs makes a statement: focus is not about saying yes to one thing, but focus is about saying no to 99 other equally important things. I repeat, focus is not saying yes to that one thing, but focus means saying no to 99 other equally important things. So your ability to say no counts. Can you say no? If you have to say a loud yes to something, you have to say a very strong no to 99 other things. I'm sorry, these are tough choices, but you have to make. So how to choose is keep asking questions. Can I live without this? Can I say no to this? Can I say no to this? When you keep iteratively saying, when you cannot say no to something after competing things, then that is the one that you need to focus on. So if you are able to say a no, okay, I can live without this. Okay, it's okay not to have this. It might be interesting, but then can you say no to it? If you can say no to it one by one, that's how you eliminate your choices and arrive at that one thing.
Thank you. And one more question. You were talking about finishing something effectively. So the student has asked how to finish something effectively, and does having knowledge about other things help in doing something effectively, even if it is not related to any work? It's like a general experience.
Mm-hmm.
To finish something effectively that one has started, do you think that the knowledge about other things that are not related to work also matters?
For the first question, how to finish things effectively, see, this is not something, it's not a rocket science. I gave you an example. People usually join a course and then they leave it, throw it off the way and move on. And there are people who take pride in opening 10 threads or 20 threads or 100 threads. Oh, I took a membership there, I took a membership here, I joined there, I joined here, I took that course, I joined this course. This is all familiar to us. So there is nothing to be proud of how many things you started. For example, it can be to a book also. You start reading a book, please finish a book. If you start reading a book, then you can start reading 100 books, but not finish even one. So it's about finishing. That's the whole thing. So it's not rocket science. You know, when you start a mission, you know how to finish that mission. You start helping your mom. Let it be as small as a thing. You started helping your mom at home. You started, let's say, putting a mop or sweeping the floor. You started. What does it mean finishing? Finishing means finishing the mop. Finishing means finishing the sweeping. That's it. You started agreeing to clean up greens from your mom. What does finishing means? Finish the greens until it is clean. Simple. So this is not rocket science. So everybody knows what it means to finish when you start a thing. It's a small habit which builds up into character. That's the first part. Second question that she asked is, knowledge about other things help you in finish? Well, sometimes it can, but this is more a character than a knowledge. This is more of a character than a skill. So knowledge is not relevant for you to have the motivation to finish. Finishing is all about a character. It's about the innate desire to close things that I started. It's an innate sense of good, feeling good that I have to finish this. It's a sense of optionlessness that you have to finish what you started. So it's a character thing.
Thank you. And related to the same knowledge, one more student has asked a question. He has said, thank you for sharing your knowledge and all your cherished culture at your workplace. Knowledge is power, That is something that you have shared with us, and he has said that he will never stop gaining it after this. And he wants to know your views on past experiences and the knowledge gained from failing any initiative.
Oh, there are tons of things that we have failed. There are tons of things that we have failed. And one important failure I would like to share with all of you. During the 2015, in the last 2015, what happened was there was an oil crisis. So the primary customer base for us is in GCC, which is the Middle East. It's an oil-based economy. Everybody knows oil comes from Middle East. The prices of oil plummeted from $130 per barrel. It went down to $20 per barrel. When the prices of oil fall, the whole economy fell down in Middle East, and the whole market became extremely difficult. And we did not see this coming. So as a company, we were on a downward hill. It was just a free fall. We were losing money every day. So literally in that particular 2 years, in 2016 and 2017, we lost together around 50 crores we lost as a cash from our company between these 2 years. That's a huge lot of cash. People who speak Tamil in this group may understand very well. மழை பெய்யறப்போ உப்பு விற்க போறது, காத்தடிக்கிறப்போ உமி விற்க போறதுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க தமிழ்ல. அதாவது which means you cannot swim against the currents. You cannot swim against the winds. You cannot sail against the winds. We did a huge mistake by not understanding the trend of the government, trend of the economy, and trend of the market, and we kept on investing against it, which means that became drained down the drain, and it all became a futile investment, and we lost huge money. So the most important learning which came out of that session for all of our promoters is you have to know the direction of the market. Whether you're in a profession or you're in a company, you're an entrepreneur, you should know the direction of the market, which means where the market is going. You cannot go against the trend. If you go too much against the trend, the chances that you will fail is very high. So you should understand the pulse and the trend of the market.
Thank you, Maran. And there are many questions still unanswered and pending also, but I know it's time for you. So what I'll request the participants is you can connect with him through the LinkedIn, and might be you can ask the questions to him there also. And I request a principal to give a thanks to him.
Sundari, I have a
Yes.
request.
Yes, Maran.
You can request all the students. You can share my LinkedIn ID and also my email address. They are welcome to share their questions, and you can also compile the questions and send it to me by email. I'll make sure that I respond to every one of the questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll do that. Thank you, Maran. Sir, you're on mute, sir. Principal.
Good afternoon to all. Indeed, I'd like to thank Mr. Maran. The other day when we thought we can very well be happy to invite you for our webinar, and I just made an attempt sending you a message. Standing in a social distancing queue, I received your message stating that I will call you today. Really, it was happy moment. Even I was immediately I was going through that. I was so happy that I could, because of that, I could able to leave 2 more people to go for the counter. Really on your own you have called us, and so subsequently we have made it a day today. Really I was grateful for that, Mr. Maran. And one more thing, really actually today out of these 12 tenets you have given began with Zen is a display, especially we were actually before that we have completed soon. Zen is actually born with the gadgets, all these things. Really we ourselves feel that younger dealing with students, and we need to get change with the students' mentality, all these things. And of course, we also strongly believe that they are highly capable, multi-processing people, all these things. You rightly began your talk about Gen Z, motivating them, capture their attention towards your talk. And of course, friendship. I myself have witnessed many other times in our campus, and we used to share that with my family members. Really, you're one of the living example for being much importance for the friendship. Really, for anyone who will be at the hostel, it will be a golden era for them in their life period. I really agree with that point. And many of the other things. And one more thing which we are really impressed with is to the current generation that academic matters. Really, beyond all this capability, 4 years, how they get transformed academically, that is going to be making them to have a strong foundation in the lifelong career. And also, you insisted on that because we also insist that lifelong learning is a mandate for anyone till there. And another thing you rightly pointed out that people should be ready for change, and also outcome-driven execution. Similarly, in our case, we have in our system outcome-based education. Anything but one keep on raising the bar. This is applicable to any kind of sectors. And the last, the final one, really, what you told is that walk the last mile. Really, anything whoever does it, if it is done in a perfect way, the completion will be highly satisfied. And also day by day they need to run. Really, this definitely, in our opinion, we feel that to kindle the minds of students, give them a right thought how to match student to profession. With these few words on behalf of our management and our team, I like to extend heartfelt thanks to Mr. Maran sir for spending your valuable time addressed us really. And I hope these inputs to students will definitely help them to grow in their career. With these few words, I conclude my vote of thanks. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Maran.
Thank you very much. Pleasure addressing all of you. And thank you very much for taking me on. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.